Am I back? I'm not back. It just showed I was offline. Maybe that's just the lag section. Oh, shoot. God damn it. To whoever is rejoining, I am so sorry. I had to switch internets and okay, I had to switch internets real quick. Apparently Exceed decided to say F you. So I had to go off my data. I think next stream I don't know whose data I'm gonna go off of. I really need to get another internet service. I'm getting tired of my freaking Exceed dropping out on me like that. It's not good for gaming. If my phone runs out of data, Mama, on hotspot data, you don't mind pulling yours up, right? You haven't used your allowance yet. For tomorrow's stream. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to part one, part two. Okay, let's finish off. OBS says that I've been on for like longer than it needed, though. I don't think that counts on the Twitch though. I know Twitch got disconnected for a few seconds. Well, welcome back. Oh, damn it! Ugh. Strength. Oh, no, passing gate. Oh, fire. Okay, I need to do one thing to get to the other. I hope I have... Nope, I don't have enough stamina. Oh, this one. Okay. I broke it. Of the people on, who is all on, I know some of you guys like to just watch me. Sav, you still on? Okay. Oh yeah, I was like, how do I do this again? Stupid puzzle. I grab it, bring it over here, toss it in the basket, it gets tossed back. I need... Whoops. Kick the ball! Wrong. Did it get put in the water? Ooh, it got put right there. I never thought of this before. Oh my god, why didn't I think about this? Oh, wrong way. Oh, I just trapped myself. I am very smart, apparently. Oh. Well, I got that part down. This way. There. I think it tossed over there too. I think it got tossed over there. That go back in the basket? I think it went back in the basket. No. Yeah, it went back in the basket. I don't see no. Okay. Like, I don't see a shiny. Wait. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. Let's grab that first. I am missing the boomerang. What did I do with the boomerang? First grab this. Never mind. I'll leave the boomerang. Freaking out about the boomerang. I get a better sword. Okay. I'm gonna stop him. Where's my boomerang? Bombs! Why didn't I think about the bombs? I used the bombs the last time. Ah, I'm walking it. I'm walking it. Where did the boomerang go? I flung it and then it... There's an arrow. Another arrow. On the ground. I guess don't use it for that. It wasn't right there. It wasn't over there. What happened to the boomerang? Oh! Found it. Where'd it go now? I saw it splat. Got it. Let's see where it flies now. Oh! I could have grabbed it! I'm horrible with this stupid thing. Okay, open that up. Oh. Oi! Ah, I got it! I got it! I got it! Dang it! Did it even? No, it didn't. Nope. I almost want to toss the damn thing, but it's like, I don't. I'm tired of using my weapons. Just. This stupid thing just knocked me down. Nope. Great, that will work. Let's try it. Yep. Oh, dang it. Nope. Oh, okay. I remember. It took my brain a bit. I was like, how do I do this? Ta-da! Had a moment. Just give me the damn thing already. 11. That's free, right? 4, 8, and yet 12. I need one more, and then I'll be golden for 2 hearts. And are you kidding me? I'm standing right here until that stupid thing goes off. If you haven't watched the Blood Moon thing, go back to a video on YouTube. The first Breath of the Wild. I have a playlist for the Breath of the Wild streams. I think of my username. What was my username again? Wolf Sky Angel on YouTube. If you want to see the cutscene for the Blood Moon, go to that one. I am not. I hate this cutscene. I'm gonna skip it. I know some people like this cutscene, but I don't like it. I don't like this cutscene at all. The Blood Moon. Shut up about the Blood Moon. Okay, yeah. If you want to see that scene first started is on my first stream for the Breath of the Wild play. Right now I got like 3 videos on there. Wolf Sky Angel on YouTube. Okay, where are we now? Okay, so did I have a thing there? No, I didn't. Okay. And maybe I'll leave it there. No. I think I still need the horse. No, I don't? Oh, I was wondering why. I remember what I was doing. I remember what I was doing. Oh, night sap! Um, 45 minutes and then I'll end this second part of the stream. And then, yeah, tomorrow around 5, 6 o'clock. I just now realized what I was saying. Take the sensor off because I don't want to hear it. Bye, pretty lady. Yeah, there should be at least. Why? Do you watch Young and the Restless? Oh. Oh. Those arrows. Great North is, I forgot what that is. We've got 45 minutes and then I'll Oh, I just realized what I should have done. Oh well. YOLO! I'll get the chorus another time. I know I need weapons upgrade, but kind of wanting to get all my hearts up there. Do I have a wooden thingy? That's wood. Oh, I should have waited. Ah! It zapped me. God fucking damn it. Die already. Be gone, bat. Okay, today. Whereabouts it was. I missed that one. Why? Second go. And I want better stuff for that thing. Almost got it. Dang it. Ow. Maybe I should with him. Nope, gone. What is the yellow one? That one. The red one's for that one. Okay. Okay, that one I'm going for, so I can delete that one. One from the other side. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I don't trust this. I feel like I'm gonna freaking fail. Did save, right? Wish me luck! Please, 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 please. The carrying case. Yeah, I haven't completely died yet. You know, some people that do like 3 heart runs, how they survive all the freaking time. I don't know how those people can do it. I wouldn't be able to survive. I can barely survive one. And it's, oh my gosh. I am, no, I'm in, oh, oh, yeah. Oh, shh. Why? Why? Oh, okay. One part's in the one region, the other parts. I remember correctly, I went up that. Is it cloudy outside? Do you know? Okay. I will. Only takes a minute or two, huh? Want to entertain my chat while I do that after I get this tower? That our chat can observe the Zoro that's up here. I know I made too many. Did I bring that diffuser humidifier thing in my room? For the salad. I can't believe I just scared him. Unless he was already scared beforehand. Either way, whatever. I know, my arms are itchy too. We were in the sun too long. All I can say is at least it got darker. I'm not used to getting dark. spinning area. What? Oh, here, observe this guy freak out about the height. Cause no kidding, dude, I'd be freaked too. Okay, be right back. At least a minute top.